Hello, my loves. So, this is just a reminder that life is what you're going to make out of it, right? You can have people say so many things to you, and you can back. Why? Don't be a dragon. Don't breathe fire. Because honestly, that's what they want. I have for a little more than 2 days, had somebody that's been poking and just, it's almost like an animal clawing at a door. Let me out, let me in, whatever it is. I need your attention. I want your attention. When other people do this to you, if it's in a negative aspect, especially if they are tearing you down, let it go. You win a battle in silence. Because I woke up yet again to somebody telling me, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing that for you. You're not doing anything other than trying to create drama in my life. To the point, drug her daughter into it to message my daughter to bring my daughter into it because I wasn't giving a response. Are you following me on the drama? And all I could do was, okay, let that person do them. Because I will tell you, as you nag and my daughter even said, she's a banshee. Webster's dictionary, the definition of a banshee is a woman who screams. And I was like, oh, very interesting. So she said, that's what she is. And she said, I really want to say something to her. I said, please don't. Because what she's doing now is can't get a reaction out of me. So if you go say something, it's going to create a big argument that I have been pushing away. Because you've stated your case, right? That person has made it very clear. They want to be the boss. They want to be in charge. Even told me I ain't the one. Okay. Well, I don't play that. We can communicate like grown adults respectfully. I speak to you respectfully, you speak to me respectfully. But at no point in time should you, just like I refuse, to allow other people to speak down to me. I am not your child, and even if I were, don't speak to me or your child like that. I am not somebody you hold ownership over. I am not lesser than you. I don't need you. And this is a problem with people that want to control a situation. They're going to push themselves to feel like they're in a higher stance of power than what they are. And you have to remember that these people often feel they have no control over themselves, their emotions, their lives, what's going on around them, how people view them. And a lot of it is because they wear a mask. And when that mask begins to slip, the world begins to see them for who they are. Let their mask fall off. The best way to let their mask fall off is to not put fuel to their fire. Because if you can hold yourself back, because believe me, at one point, I felt the heat starting to bubble and I had to go, woosah, swallow it down. Do not react. Because that's the thing with, I'll call them what they are, narcissistic individuals. They believe that they're worth more than what they bring to the table. They are people that need you to picture them on a pedestal. And sadly, it's because they feel inadequate, but they can't admit that to themselves. And if they could admit that to themselves, then they could do the work to do the healing and get out of their shadow side. But at some point, you have to realize you have to integrate your shadow side with your light side. Meaning you have that part of you that is willing to do what's necessary to survive, and then the light side is doing what is necessary to make people see feel seen and heard and validated. So when you can bring those two together, then you can put yourself in a situation to where you can now communicate with other people in a sense that they are seen and heard, but you have boundaries for yourself. And when you create boundaries for yourself, you don't let people steamroll you in life. You don't allow them to keep putting you in a position to where you're like, "Argh!" You don't want to be a banshee. You don't want to be the person that's always trying to find a way to get vengeance, because vengeance is not mine. It says it in the Bible. Leave it to the higher power. Leave it to God. Because vengeance belongs to the higher power, not us. We're not here to judge. Some of us are here just to remind people who those people don't want to be. Other people are here to help people that want to wake up and get out of the darkness and go into the light. We're meant to be leaders to help those people to get out of situations that are so toxic that your body starts to react to these situations. Because if you're all tensed up and tied up and getting sick and emotionally not okay and mentally just like, I don't know what's going on, it's because there's a lot of toxicity in your life. And that comes from a lot of different aspects. It comes from the food. It comes from habits. It comes from people we allow into our circle. It comes from the energy that we're sharing on a regular basis. It comes from not having boundaries for yourself. It comes from not loving yourself ultimately. Not seeing the value in who you are. And I'll tell you, being the silent person throughout these days of tearing me down, and I'm saying some very awful things were told to me about myself. Luckily, I know myself. I know what I've been through. I know what I've healed through. I know what I've helped my children recover from. I know how I've helped them strive to become better individuals, to where those things rolled right off my back. Don't throw your muddy water in my face. It's one of those things where someone, if you can see it as what they're doing is they are projecting themselves onto you to make you react, the best thing you can see out of that situation is to step back and pray for them. Wish them well. Do not put fuel on that fire, because they're trying to burn down the house. They're trying to bring in the tower. They're trying to bring in the thing that will take your energy and give it to them. You have to realize when people are being nasty and wicked, it's because they're running out of energy. It's almost like a fish on the shore that's flopping because it needs to get back in the water. And the same goes with somebody who is an energy vampire, that they need reactions. They need energy. They need something to fuel their existence, because they don't create that for themselves. They might be false righteous individuals that go around and, oh, I do this and I do that and all these good deeds, right? And I go to church and I help whatever. They go around having to tell you what they do. But you have to realize when you do from the heart, it's not something you speak about. It's something that you illuminate for the world to see, and it's not something you have to validate. When you can learn to discern, you can start to see people for who they really are. And in the sense of where I have been making my stronghold, is I'm not going to interact with you while you're acting childish. That depletes an individual. It depleted this person so much they did not apologize, but they had time to reflect on their words, their actions, and the situation they are putting themselves into, which then turned into, you can stay. Nah, Felicia, I'm good. See, I'm the kind of person that you can disrespect me, I will take it graciously. I will not do what you are doing. I will not drag my children into it. I will not drag your children into it. I will not drag innocent individuals into a situation that has nothing to do with them. Throw a huge fit, tear you down. I could. We all can. It's easy to be nasty when it's a part of who you are. Thing is, once you show yourself as that person to the world, your mask has fallen off. You have now shown them that you are allowing low-vibing energies to possess you and function through you. Now remember, at this time in life, we are in what I consider a spiritual warfare, where there's those low-vibing negative energies that will suck the life out of other individuals. Call it demonic possessions, whatever you want to call it. But when you allow something that's so low-vibing to become what you function from, then you are bringing yourself down to a level that there's no room for growth for you. There's no room for you to excel into a higher existence. You're going to stay in the muck, and you're going to work dead-end jobs. You're going to stress constantly. Money's never going to stay in your hand. You're never going to be appreciated. You're always going to want to lie and manipulate and play the dirty game of life. It's when you can start going, something's off with that person. Let me pray for them. Because this is out of my hands. I have no control over this situation. The only thing I can do in the situation that I'm in, because now, sure, I'm being offered stay. We didn't even make it a month. What makes you think I want to stay? So you can kick me out again in 2 months, 2 weeks? I give you money and then this starts all over again, and I've prolonged myself in your karmic cycle? No, thank you. The best thing you can do in any of these situations is the same thing that I'm having to choose to do, which is to make a plan. Do not wait around. I learned from the relationship I was in prior, well, the long marriage. I could wait and wait and wait and wait, and it would get worse and worse and worse because I didn't know how to make a plan. But what I learned from that was, you always have to have a plan A, B, C. Sometimes a backup plan. You have to start looking as soon as you realize what you need to do. And then you have to turn around and go, okay, this is my goal. No matter how scary it is. Because honestly, at this point, my daughter and I are both like, I don't want to move everything again. We haven't even been here a month. This is redonkulous. This is exhausting. And sometimes you have to leave everything behind. But you have to be okay leaving everything behind. And I just told a friend of mine, I'm cool with the fact that I might not take anything other than the clothes that we have and stuff for the kitchen. Because it's so easy to replace and build a new life and just leave things behind. Because you can run yourself ragged trying to fight over what you think is yours, what you're entitled to. Or you can say, you know what? I don't even want it. I don't care. I'm not materialistic. And it comes by so easily. Especially when you're an individual that lives by a certain code and you have morals and you have couth and you have that oath for humanity. And sometimes the little things that we hang on to that in the end they were petty are the things that hold us back and keep us in toxic cycles. And a lot of times you can turn around and go, I'd rather just start a new life. You can have it all. I don't want any of it. You created problems for me. Now you can deal with my now trash in my world because I don't want it. If that's the best give back, that's all I'll have to offer. But I'm not doing this back and forth, moving around. It's exhausting. Just remember, sometimes the person who wins is the person who almost bites their tongue off because they're not willing to add fuel to the fire so somebody else can get their energy and feel empowered. Stop giving people the ability to have a false sense of power, especially over you, because you will find when they don't apologize and you are the one that apologizes for their wrongdoings, now all of a sudden they push harder and harder and harder to get a reaction out of you. And I'll just let you know, that is evil at work to bring you out of your character, to make you become something that you're really not. Don't let people have that kind of power over you. You yourself are a very powerful individual that is meant to be here in this world, that brings justice, sometimes through silence. Play the quiet game. See who coughs first. I'm going to leave it on that note. Just a little short something to think about. Or maybe it's how you play chess and you're no longer playing checkers. Let them scream. Good night.